Hello everyone, welcome back to iFarouq Tech channel. In last tutorial we talked about CSS margins, where we know what is CSS margins, what is syntax, and also learn how it actually works. If you missed that, you can check the content in the channel's videos or the link in the description down below. And today we are going to continue on CSS margins, that's CSS margin collapse, where we are going to learn what will happen if two elements end up having margin. That is, the first element has bottom margin and the other element has top margin. Which of the two elements is going to be treated first and why it's going to be treated first? We will learn all that in this tutorial. Just stay with me to the end of this video. Top and bottom margins of elements are sometimes collapsed into a single margin that is equal to the largest of two margins. But remember, not always that happening. Why did I say that? I will tell you later in this video. This margin collapse doesn't happen to left and right margins. It happens only to the top and bottom margins. Let's take an example and you will know more about that. So let's save our work and see how it's going to be. So here we are. You can see in this example the heading 1 element has a bottom margin of 50 pixels and the heading 2 element has a top margin set to 20 pixels. So common sense here will seem to suggest that the vertical margin between the heading 1 and heading 2 will be a total of 70 pixels. That is 50 pixels plus 20 pixels. But due to margin collapse, the actual margins end up being 50 pixels. But let's change the values of heading 2 and see if it is going to be affected. If we change our value here from 20 pixels to 40 pixels, save, refresh our page, you can see here nothing happened to vertical margin between the two elements. I changed the value of our heading 2 from 20 to 40 pixels and save it, but nothing changed. As well as if I change it to back to 10 pixels, you can see nothing changed. My question here is, why does interpreter take 50 pixels of top margin alone and leave 20 pixels of bottom margin? The answer is heading 1 comes first before heading 2 in both HTML and CSS code. That's why it has higher priority here. So what about if heading 2 remains second in my page structure, that's HTML code, but comes first in my styling without changing its initial value? What will happen then? So let's see if anything is going to happen here. If we interchange heading 2 and heading 1 here without changing the initial values, what is going to happen? Let's save my work. Let's see if we're going to be affected here. I refresh my page. You can see what happens. Obviously the margin effect seems to remain on heading 1 and nothing happens to heading 2, but that's not right. The right thing is, if we add another element down here, let's say header 4, heading 4, refresh my page, you can see the effect here on heading 2, which is 50 pixels of margin bottom, but the top margin of 10 pixels affect heading 1 as bottom margin of 50 pixels affect heading 2. We may not be able to notice that now, but let's change its value and see if it is going to be affected. Let me increase this to 40 pixels and see. You can see another issue. So here is my answer that I said earlier in this tutorial. Not always that happening. What I mean here is collapse is not always taking the largest margins among the two, because heading 2 has the largest margin value than heading 1. Heading 1 has 40 pixels of top margin, while heading 2 has 50 pixels of bottom margin, but both heading 1 and heading 2 has an effect of margins. So that's what I mean by saying not always that happening. My recommendation to you here is, if you want an accurate work on your web development, you should style your pages accordingly, that's respectively. Do not style it randomly, starting with lower element than upper element. Starting with lower element than upper element may cause you trouble in your development. So that's all for today's tutorial. Hope you enjoyed my today's video. If that's so, make sure you give me a thumb up and leave comment in the comment section down below. If this is your first time to visit my channel and haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click the red subscribe button and click on the bell for you to be notified on every upcoming tutorial. Thanks guys for watching. Goodbye and take care.